With me in the studio, I have Professor Bola Akinterewa, Director General, Bolitech Center for International Diplomacy and Strategic Studies, Modele Sharafa Yusuf, veteran broadcaster, marketing communications consultant, and Arise News analyst, and Chike Ogea, former Commissioner for Information, Delta State. The Senate, on Tuesday this week, approved the establishment of 6 new campuses of the Nigerian Law School across the 6 geopolitical zones of the country. The newly approved law schools are in addition to the 7 existing ones, bringing the total number of law schools in the country to 13, excluding that of the Federal Capital Territory. The approval of the new law campuses followed the consideration and adoption of a report by the Senate Committee on Judiciary, Human Rights, and Legal Matters on the Legal Education Act Amendment Bill 2021. The bill was sponsored by Senator Smart Adeyemi of the All Progressives Congress Party from Kogi State. Accordingly, the Senate approved the Jos Law School Campus, Plateau State, Kaba Law School Campus, Kogi State, for the North Central Geopolitical Zone, the Yola Law School Campus, Adamawa, and Maiduguri Law School Campus, Borno, are to serve the Northeast Zone. Approved for the Northwest are the Kano Law School Campus and Agungu Law School Campus in Kebbi State. For the Southeast, the Enugu Law School Campus and Ukija Law School Campus in Anambra State were approved. The Yenegua Law School Campus, Bayelsa, Port Harcourt Law School Campus, River State, and Orogun Law School Campus, Delta State, were approved for the South-South Zone, while the Chamber approved the Lagos Law School Campus and Ilawe Law School Campus in Ekiti for the Southwest. The Buhari Law School Campus, Abuja, remains exclusively for the Federal Capital Territory. Joining us now to have a conversation around this matter and one other major issue this week is Chief Robert Clark, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, a man who has had a career spanning over 50 years in the Nigerian bar. Welcome to This Day Live, Mr. Robert Clark. Thank you very much for joining us, Chief Clark.
It's always my pleasure, especially when I listen to the great Abati.
Thank you, sir. Well, quickly, let's go straight to the point. Thank you. Do we need more law schools in Nigeria? Is there a justification beyond federal character proposition for the establishment of new law school campuses, considering the fact that the existing ones that we have are facing very serious problems? Parents don't want to send their children to certain parts of the country. Second, we don't have enough teachers in the existing law schools. Third, most of these existing law schools even have issues of accommodation. Do you think that the lawmakers who are proposing this have given enough thought to the idea of the establishment of additional law schools?
Well, let me first give you a good history about the law school being created outside Lagos. I was fortunate to be in a position in relation to governance in this country, not as a politician. When one of the military heads of state was transferred and taken all paramilitary everything to Abuja, he directed that the Nigerian Law School in Lagos be moved to Abuja. Now, the Bar Association, and I remember vividly, Irat Balogun was in the forefront, resisted the attempt to take the law school to Abuja. Well, funnily enough, the heads of state then now said, look, if you don't want to transfer to Abuja, all federal parastatals are now in Abuja. I will lock the law school up in Lagos and I will build a new one in Abuja. So that put the Bar Association in a corner. For instance, the head of state said then that, look, people in Maiduguri, people in Sokoto, people in Onitsha, all come from all these places without knowing anybody in Lagos to attend the law school. So now you Lagosians, you Ijebus, you don't want to come to Abuja. So all those people who have been coming and endangering their lives. So I now advised, I was in an advisory position to him then. I said, look, allow the Lagos State Law School to stay. You build another law school, and that may allow other states to build, law schools. But let us be honest, the main reason for extending the law school colleges was because the transportation system in Nigeria was bad. Now the question is, has our transportation system changed at all? Can somebody take a flight and be sure of going to another state? No, the position is that we have not moved forward in our transportation stages. But there is hope. What we are seeing in Nigeria now is that the transportation system is getting better. Now, the Law Society or the Council of Legal Education will frown if they know that you have almost 20, 30 law schools. It's only in America where each state has, where every state has its own law school, where a lawyer has to have a license to practice in another state. But we are not in America. The reason why members of the proposed bill are putting forward to extend law schools to most of the geographical, geopolitical stations is baseless with respect. Why should you have one law school in Kogi? You have one in Lokoja. You have one. No. Let's be honest with ourselves. We have always said that the creation of 36 states in Nigeria is bogus. We cannot maintain it. The same reasoning, these people now, you have not been able to fund the 6 or 7 law schools you have properly. No dormitories, no standard this and you want to be having in each local government. I don't agree with them at all. Let us be honest. We can have law schools in the 6 geographical, geopolitical zones and make sure that with good interstate transportation, with good, facilities, 6 will be enough for Nigeria. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. I guess also that funding will be a problem. As I said earlier on, we don't even have enough teachers. We don't have enough accommodation facilities.
Yeah, that's true.
Either in Yola or in the Lagos Law School.
When people like you don't want to become teachers.
But sir, are you surprised that this move to create more law
I wouldn't be surprised.
No, I was going to draw your attention.
You are one of the best brains. You are one of the best brains I've come across.
Thank you, sir. I was going to ask you whether you are surprised that, in fact, this move to establish new campuses for the law school has already caused communal conflict. The Alawe of Ilawe Ekiti and the Olufaki of Ifaki Ekiti, they're saying that, look, they are fighting over where the campus should be located.
To cite it.
Yes.
Look, well, pettiness is part of Nigeria's daily bread. So you are just seeing the worst of what they are trying to do.
But what do you think generally of the curriculum, the current curriculum, by the Council of Legal Education, how lawyers are trained? I mean, you've been in this business for more than 5 decades. What do you see on the field?
Well, let me tell you, what makes a lawyer is in the blood. What makes a good lawyer is in the blood. What makes a good surgeon is in the blood. You don't learn how to be a good advocate. You don't learn how to be a good surgeon. It's a gift. It's in your blood. So the curriculum or whatever it is must be the basic one that every other universities in America, in England, that should nothing should be different from all those. Because those who are going to be good will be good. Those who are not going to be good will not be good. So I don't think the normal curricula should exceed what we have now.
So you don't think that there's a problem with training, even when there is a shortage of people willing to teach law in the law campuses?
Look, we always say that what you read in the law school is not what you meet outside practicing. We have seen that. When the best students in the law school, they never make it in practice. Though the average students in the law school, they make better lawyers than the first-class brains. So what you read in the law school is just a training ground of what you become when you get into the main field. So I agree with you that we need to top up, but it is not all that essential that it should be the greatest criteria.
Okay, another major legal issue this week has been the nullification of the Executive Order number 10, which was introduced by the Buhari administration to give effect to Section 121, subsection 3 of the 1999 Constitution. Now the Supreme Court, deciding 6-1, said that the president will be acting intra vires to give effect to that particular executive order. And that is unconstitutional, and to that extent, illegal, null and void, and of no effect. What's your assessment of that ruling with regard to this executive order that's supposed to promote the independence of the judiciary and also the state legislature?
The first thing, with due respect to the panel of the Supreme Court, that start, I don't want the name of that dissenting judgment to be made known. You see, the Yoruba say, "Ohun tí ò dá ò dá." The Constitution is very clear. There is no reason for any two good lawyers to start doubting each other as to the correct interpretation of the Constitution. Now, once Executive Order 10 was issued, the Attorney General, the Ministry of Justice, with all the lawyers there, should have told Mr. President that, look, all what you are asking us to do now is already provided for in the Constitution. That little effort for them to do that created all this wahala. Now the Constitution has created provisions or made provisions for all that is contained in the Order 10. So what the law is saying is that I have already made provisions for it in the Constitution. Why should you, the executive, who have no power to legislate, why are you, in a way, circumventing the constitution by creating the same thing I have created. It doesn't make sense. So I give kudos to those 6 judges. And I want you all to please keep the name of the 7th judge. Keep it secret. Because he must have another reason for giving a dissenting judgment. And until I read that dissenting judgment, I don't want to comment. But I am very grateful that the Supreme Court has, through a unanimous judgment, given credence to the fact that civil servants, public officers, should decide to work harder and give correct advice to the executive. That is my say.
But Chief, will you say that in this particular case, the court ruled against itself? Because what the president of Nigeria was trying to do was to correct a particular mischief, whereby state governors ride roughshod. They dominate all 3 levels of power in the state. They dominate the judiciary, they dominate the state legislature. And hence, that administrative executive order, policy handmaiden, was meant to compel the state governors to respect the doctrine of the separation of powers. But here, you find the judiciary ruling against something that it was supposed to benefit from. What do you think?
The judiciary, the local governments have already, from 1999, ipso facto, been benefiting. It is the politicians, the governors, who have created a situation where the Constitution cannot be followed. That does not mean, therefore, that if they fail to do the correct thing, it is them they should have taken to the Supreme Court. And a situation where Mr. President, who unfortunately being a party man, is not bold enough to call without issuing executive orders. He could have summoned all the governors and said, look, what you are doing is wrong. Is he afraid to talk to them? These governors have turned this country upside down by the provisions of the 1999 Constitution. It is hard time that we all should speak to them. For the past 19 years or 20 years, they've been pocketing money not meant for them, not meant for the executive section, into their various ways. Let us be bold enough. Buhari would have done better if he had summoned all of them and told them off in the face of the whole world that what you are doing is wrong, rather than issuing an executive order that has no basis in law.
So, well, the question remains. I mean, the Judicial Senior Union of Senior Workers within the judiciary, the group called JUSON, they've been going on strike, raising questions that the judiciary is not autonomous. There is no financial independence. How do you think this particular ruling, apart from upholding constitutionalism, promotes that request by judicial service workers for autonomy?
JUSON, or whatever they call their name, they are not the judicial officers that the Constitution is referring to. They are workers. They can be transferred anywhere. You see, in decent societies in America, each judge has his own personal staff. Those are the people you can call JUSON or Jacob or whatever they call themselves. Once we make these sheriffs and file people calling themselves JUSON, that they are not judicial officers, representatives, and therefore they cannot regard themselves that their salary should come from the judiciary. They are public officers. I don't agree with them at all. The judicial officers who are by law entitled to research officers who can help them in doing research are the officers who, when appointed, can be regarded as part of the judiciary. So I see no basis for JUCOM to be clamoring that they should be paid from one particular. They are not judicial officers.
Well, but
Thank you.
They still express their concerns. But the other part of it is that the Nigerian Governors Forum, there are they've reached a certain memorandum of understanding for the implementation of what they call financial autonomy. Would that help? Or is it that after this ruling by the Supreme Court, what we need is constitutional amendment?
Look, Ruben, if you have been following me for the past 20 years, 22 years, this constitution is a rotten constitution. That is what is creating all this problem. Why should a governor want to, in a federation, if it's a single sovereign state, then the argument can be acceptable. But they are in a federation where they have given most of their rights to the center. So whatever money comes to the center will now go to them. Why do they want any financial exemption again? It's part of the rascality of the governors. I will call it that.
Well, before we go, this is not law, but I want to take advantage of your presence on the program to ask you about the 2023 general election process and some of the candidates that have thrown their hats into the ring and the politics of zoning. I'm sure you are familiar with some of the persons across the aisle who want to be president of Nigeria and all that conversation about whether there should be zoning or not, either in the PDP or the APC, the two dominant political parties, or far afield.
Okay. Nigeria is a very peculiar state, and we are noted for that. We can create nothing from something, and we can create something from nothing. Zoning or no zoning is a Nigerian terminology. It is not mentioned in civilized countries. When Clinton wanted to contest an election, he took his vice president from the same state. And nobody talked about zoning or no zoning. Now, it has become a problem in Nigeria today because we created it. We have created a monster. And if we are not careful, this monster is going to create trouble in 2023. I can see my good friend Wike dancing around. Instead of fighting for what his party stood for, that there should be zoning, he is now jettisoning zoning. I can see also people of my good friends in the north, in the APC, who have been fighting for zoning, but now they're asking it to be freelanced so that anybody can come and contest. This problem is going to create trouble for the politicians themselves. And you and I, Ruben, let's wait and see the outcome. They are going to destroy themselves. Maybe the angels are hearing your prayers and my prayers that something is going to happen by 2023. This zoning matter is going to destroy both PDP and will destroy APC.
Well, thank you very much, Chief Robert Clark, for being part of our conversation today on This Is Live, the Sunday talk show here on the Arise News Channel. Thank you very much indeed.